CEO fired single dad and said he was finished. He bought what nobody wanted and built an empire. The morning sun shined brightly over the city as Rowan Mercer walked into the towering headquarters carrying nothing but hope for another ordinary workday. Within 15 minutes, everything he had spent 12 years building disappeared. In front of dozens of co-workers, the company's powerful CEO declared that Rowan was outdated, useless, and completely finished. Security escorted the quiet single father out, while people whispered behind glass walls. Rowan didn't argue. He simply picked up the small box holding a family photograph, his daughter's handmade Father's Day card, and an old notebook filled with ideas nobody had ever cared to read. The CEO smiled confidently, believing he had just erased another forgotten employee. He had no idea that this would become the biggest mistake of his career. Before the story continues, if you believe kindness, hard work, and second chances can change lives, please like this video, leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and subscribe to Kindness Corner for more emotional stories that restore hope. As Rowan stepped into the bright afternoon sunlight, reality hit harder than the termination letter folded inside his pocket. His wife had passed away 4 years earlier after a long illness, leaving him to raise his 10-year-old son, Nolan, alone. Every paycheck mattered. Their small rented home, school fees, groceries, and medical bills depended entirely on his job. Still, Rowan refused to let his son see despair. That evening he smiled across the dinner table, pretending everything would be all right, while silently wondering how long he could keep the lights on. For weeks Rowan searched for work. Every interview ended with polite rejection. Some companies had already heard rumors spread by his former CEO, claiming Rowan was difficult to work with and no longer valuable. Savings disappeared quickly. He sold his expensive watch, then his television, then even his favorite bicycle. Yet every morning he woke before sunrise, packed Nolan's lunch, and reminded himself that giving up was never an option for a father. One bright Saturday afternoon, while driving through the industrial district looking for temporary work, Rowan noticed an abandoned manufacturing warehouse surrounded by weeds and faded signs. Most people drove past without slowing down. The building looked broken beyond repair. Windows were cracked, paint peeled from the walls, and rusty equipment filled every corner. A weathered auction banner announced that the property had failed to sell several times because everyone believed it was worthless. Something about the place reminded Rowan of himself. Forgotten, ignored, judged before anyone truly looked inside. He spent the next several days studying old city records and talking with nearby business owners. He discovered the building wasn't useless at all. Its strongest value wasn't the machinery. It was its location beside a growing transportation route that would soon connect several expanding communities. The previous owners had overlooked what the future would bring. With almost no money remaining, Rowan made the boldest decision of his life. He borrowed a small amount from a retired mechanic who believed in honest people more than business plans. Rowan invested every remaining dollar into purchasing the abandoned warehouse that nobody else wanted. The first months were exhausting. Every daytime hour was spent cleaning, repairing broken walls, replacing damaged wiring, and restoring machines that others had abandoned. Nolan helped after school by sweeping floors, organizing tools, and planting flowers near the entrance because he wanted customers to smile before they even walked inside. Slowly, the forgotten warehouse transformed into a clean workshop focused on restoring industrial equipment instead of throwing it away. Word spread quietly. Farmers, construction crews, and local manufacturers discovered that Rowan repaired machines everyone else insisted should be replaced. He charged fair prices, treated customers with respect, and guaranteed every repair. People appreciated honesty more than flashy advertisements. Soon, the workshop needed more workers. Rowan hired veterans, older mechanics ignored because of their age, and parents struggling to rebuild their lives after difficult circumstances. Everyone received respect before judgment. The workplace became known for second chances instead of impossible expectations. Within 3 years, the small repair shop expanded into a manufacturing company, creating affordable replacement parts designed to extend the lives of expensive machines. Orders arrived from neighboring cities, then neighboring states. Investors who once ignored Rowan suddenly wanted meetings. Newspapers called his business one of the fastest-growing companies in the region. Meanwhile, The corporation that had fired him faced growing problems. Their expensive replacement products couldn't compete against Rowan's practical, affordable solutions. Customers switched rapidly. Profits fell. Employees resigned. The same CEO who had laughed at Rowan's future was forced to sell several company properties, including the office building where Rowan had once carried his cardboard box through the front doors. On a clear spring afternoon, Rowan visited the building as its new owner. He walked through the bright lobby without anger or pride. He remembered the humiliation, the fear, and the uncertainty that had once followed him into the sunlight. Instead of seeking revenge, he announced that every remaining employee willing to work honestly would keep their jobs. Families would not suffer because of one leader's arrogance. The news spread across the city faster than any business headline. People realized Rowan hadn't built an empire with revenge. He had built it with compassion, patience, and the courage to see value where everyone else saw failure. The abandoned warehouse became a symbol of hope, proving that broken places and broken moments can become the foundation for extraordinary futures. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support helps these inspiring stories reach people who may need hope today. Special request, please comment with the words "Second chances build empires" if you believe one act of kindness can completely change someone's future. As the afternoon sun settled over the city, Rowan stood outside the restored warehouse watching employees laugh as they headed home to their families. He smiled, not because he had become wealthy, but because the place nobody wanted had become a place where everyone belonged. Sometimes life doesn't end when one door closes. Sometimes it quietly leads us to the forgotten door that was always meant to become our greatest beginning.